People in leadership, whether it is corporate leadership or the government, they can always find money for what they want to find money for. For example, I live in the state of Missouri. And Missouri, for years, I've lived here since the late 90s, and I have observed for years how the state likes to, cut programs and say that they want to be fiscally responsible. And a couple of years ago, they gave some tax breaks. And now again, they're saying that they want to get rid of the income tax, but they want to replace it with a sales tax. The state already has a sales tax, so I'm assuming that the state sales tax would just be very high. So for people to go and buy groceries and such, that would add the price there in favor of an income tax. And they just did an income tax. I did not see a huge difference in my life, but allegedly, supposedly, other people did. People who, with far greater financial resources than I have. And again, the state of Missouri, they like to act like they're broke. They like to say, oh, we need to balance the budget, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, in the state of Missouri, there's already like I said, there's a sales tax, there's income tax. There is gambling in Missouri that generates quite a bit of revenue. Um, let's see, in St. Louis and Kansas City, a lot of big concert tours and entertainment tours come through. Um, so when people come and play those tours, they pay taxes locally. So, like when Taylor Swift and Beyonce came to Arrowhead, they paid Missouri taxes. When athletes come and play at Busch Stadium or Kauffman Stadium, they pay taxes. But the state of Missouri likes to act like they have no money, and they like to say, "Oh, we need to balance the budget, and we need to be fiscally responsible." Okay, whatever. This state is mostly fields, so it's hard to know really, what the issue is. But anyway, um, they're like that. And I kind of lost my train of thought. But oh, yeah, there's always money for what they want. Again, the state of Missouri likes to pretend like they're broke, and that's pretty much all the politicians ever talk about. But here in Missouri, or in Kansas City specifically, we have the Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs. Both of them want new stadiums, or they're threatening to leave the state. Now, I like them a lot, and I would miss them, but I understand if they want to go. Now, honestly, I don't know who they think is going to support them like this area does, but they seem to think that they can go someplace else. Um, I say let them try, honestly. But anyway, the state of Missouri, who likes to pretend that they're broke, is they're working on legislation right now to support these sports teams that are pretending that they're broke. See, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And in, let's see, the Royals, they already have a stadium. I've been to it many times. I see nothing wrong with it. Same thing with the football team. I see nothing wrong with that stadium. And I believe not that long ago, the stadium went under renovations that the taxpayers funded. So I don't understand. And, since the Royals and the Chiefs have improved, for a long time they were both very bad teams, and it didn't cost that much to go and see them. But, they've improved and, won some championships and such. And so now their ticket prices are higher, the parking is more expensive. So now, normal people, such as myself, I I could go if I really, really wanted to. I was blessed with a ticket to go see the Royals last year by my employer, but for the most part, it would be kind of a big financial bite for me to go, but they want taxpayers to pay for those tickets when most people really can't even afford to go see those to get into the stadium anymore. Beyonce tickets were several $100s. Well, I think some people got in pretty inexpensively last minute, but her tickets were high. Like if you bought them early, Taylor Swift was very high. Um, so they want this. Well, actually, I shouldn't even mention Beyonce and Taylor Swift because it's not so much just about the stadiums, it's more about the teams. This state that likes to act like it's broke and can't fund, programs for handicapped children has money for a baseball team who wants a $6 billion stadium. They generously say, okay, yeah, I can pay three. We want taxpayers to pay the other three. They told that to the county where they are. That county said no. I'm glad. I'm glad. But now the state is stepping in, and the state is like, oh no, we can't let them leave. Oddly enough, this state has already lost the Rams. Let me tell you something funny about that. I remember when the whole like hands up don't shoot thing was going on. Some of the Rams players, when it was still in St. Louis, they did that. They like came out with their hands up. And I don't know if you remember the whole like Michael Brown Ferguson Missouri problem, but that was kind of along that same era, and people talked about the Rams terribly. Well, I don't know all of why the Rams left and went to LA, but they did. But when they left, I thought about that, about how poorly people in St. Louis talked about the Rams for saying, hands up, don't shoot, in response to a man being shot by an officer. And so they left. Now, I like the Royals and Chiefs quite a bit, but I just really don't think that taxpayers should pay them, especially when the state has already acted like they're broke. And I understand that it creates a lot of revenue and stuff, but why is the state acting like these teams are broke? But they want to cut like SNAP benefits in Section 8 and things like that. It's just really outrageous. So, yeah, what I'm getting at is these rich powers that be, they have money for what they want, who they want, and whenever they want, they can come up with some money. Right now, as we speak, they are working on legislation to try and keep those teams here. Oh, and the people who are really in favor of trying to keep the teams here, they're people who don't really live in Jackson County, which is more of like the city, like the urban core. It's people on the outskirts a little bit more who are like, we want our world class city. It's more the people who could probably afford to actually pay for the games and such and things like that. But they wanted the people in that urban core, a lot of which probably have never been to a game because it's expensive, and they probably couldn't now or in the foreseeable future because it's so expensive. And Arrowhead Stadium, it's not even called Arrowhead anymore. They call it Geha Stadium, Geha, because they sold the naming rights. So they're generating a lot of revenue there, but they still act like they're broke. They found money to pay for, Patrick Mahomes, who I think is worth it. I think he's great. I mean, I totally get it. I'm not begrudging that. But I am just saying that these folks have money for what they value, and they don't have money for what they see as expendable. So I think that this just speaks volumes. The Kansas City Chiefs, they are owned by a family called the Hunt family. In my observations of them, they really do seem nice. They seem very nice and very sweet. Um, and, they're a very well to do family. There's a boy in that family who's about 10, literally looks like Richie Rich come to life. But, really, I mean, they're a welfare family. honestly. They're the biggest welfare family in the state. But I guess it's okay since they already have a lot of money. So, anyway, there's just my thought on that. It's just, ironic and amazing how this state that always talks about fiscal responsibility and how you know, they act like they don't have any money. They have no problem giving it to uh, sports teams and very wealthy families. They're broke though. Bye.